Annie Leibovitz is an American artist. Photography just happens to be her medium. With an archive spanning over 5 decades, she's captured power, vulnerability, and spectacle, revealing the complexity of American identity. In the realm of celebrity portraiture and editorial photography, she is unrivaled in cultural impact. In terms of iconic imagery, influence, cultural reach, and sheer name recognition, Annie Leibovitz is peerless in her field. Others may be more technically daring, more avant-garde, or more commercially prolific in certain niches, but no one has Annie's blend of artistry, access, and impact. Annie Leibovitz was born in Westport, Connecticut in 1949. She was one of 6 children, part of a tight-knit family who loved to travel, often going on road trips. Annie has said that traveling in the car on family road trips and watching the landscape go by felt like seeing the world through a ready-made camera frame. She moved to the Bay Area for college, intending to study painting and become an art teacher, but her artistic path would soon change. In the late 1960s, during the Vietnam War, Annie's father was stationed in the Philippines. During a summer visit to the Air Force Base, she bought a camera and taught herself to develop film in the base darkroom. Her first images were portraits of soldiers, locals, and the life around the base. Back in San Francisco, Annie took a summer photography workshop. She shot during the day, developed film at night, and presented her work the next morning. Immersed in the anti-war and countercultural movements, she fell in love with photography's immediacy and switched her major. She studied the work of Cartier-Bresson and Robert Frank, realizing photography could be both a gateway to travel and a way to engage with the world creatively. In 1970, Annie Leibovitz joined Rolling Stone magazine as a staff photographer. At the time, Rolling Stone was the most influential publication of the youth counterculture movement in the United States. A few years later, at age 23, she became the chief photographer of Rolling Stone. Her lens gave Rolling Stone its look and its cultural edge. In 1974, Annie accompanied writer Hunter S. Thompson to Washington, D.C. to cover President Nixon's resignation. When Thompson was overcome by writer's block and couldn't deliver his piece, Rolling Stone instead ran a striking photo essay by Annie, anchored by her now iconic image of Nixon's helicopter lifting off from the White House lawn. In 1975, Annie Leibovitz toured with the Rolling Stones. Her black and white images captured both the grandeur and the decay of life on the road. Her access revealed backstage moments, unmade beds, and the haze of addiction. Living the same lifestyle, Annie found herself in a dark place. The tour marked a creative high point, but also a personal unraveling. Annie later admitted she lost herself for a time before finding the clarity to finally come back. Despite the darkness she was navigating, her work never lost its clarity or its impact. Just 5 years later, she would capture one of the most haunting and iconic images of her career. Her portrait of John Lennon and Yoko Ono, taken just hours before Lennon's murder in 1980, became one of the most iconic Rolling Stone covers of all time. Annie had promised Lennon that it would run on the cover, and it did. After leaving Rolling Stone in 1980, Annie Leibovitz joined Vanity Fair. At the time, some in the industry viewed her with skepticism, her health depleted and her reputation clouded by years spent deep in the rock and roll scene and its extremes. But what followed was one of the most prolific and artistically bold chapters of her career. Much of that reinvention can be credited to the editorial vision of Vanity Fair's then-editor Tina Brown and Rolling Stone photo editor Karen Malarkey, who both recognized Annie's raw talent and unique ability to shape cultural mythology through image. They gave her room to evolve, from a chronicler of rock and roll chaos to a portraitist of presidents, actors, and global icons. Brown, in particular, understood that Annie could bring drama, depth, and a painterly sense of grandeur to the glossy pages of a reinvented Vanity Fair. But Annie's transition also sheds light on a deeper tension in her early career, one that haunted many photographers of her generation. In hindsight, it's clear that Annie did not understand her legal rights as a photographer. She didn't realize that she owned the rights to her own images. Jan Wenner, Rolling Stone's founder, benefited immensely from her work, while Annie, unaware of the long-term value of her archive, ceded control by default. It was Karen Malarkey who helped her to understand ownership of her own images. encouraged her to reclaim her power, and open her own studio to take control of her professional future. Yet despite the personal and professional lows of the early 80s, Leibovitz rose again. And this time, she wasn't just capturing culture, she was shaping it. In 1987, Annie shot the award-winning Portraits campaign for American Express. The irony is that women in the United States couldn't get credit cards without a male cosigner until 1974, 4 years after she began her career as a professional photographer. She went on to shoot major campaigns for Got Milk, IKEA, and The Gap. While others struggled with the transition from film to digital, Annie embraced the digital revolution. She used new technology to push her creative boundaries and stay in the game. Annie met writer Susan Sontag in 1988 while photographing her for a book jacket. Their romantic and intellectual partnership lasted 15 years until Sontag's death in 2004. Annie documented their life together in her deeply personal monograph, A Photographer's Life. In 1998, Annie began shifting her focus from Vanity Fair to Vogue. The move wasn't publicized but reflected a creative pivot. At Vogue, she found new opportunities for fashion-forward, stylized storytelling. In a male-dominated field, Annie broke through every barrier. Often more famous than her subjects, she has redefined what it means to be a portrait photographer, and not just a female artist, but an artist. If Annie Leibovitz's work has taught us anything about American life, it's that neither art nor identity is ever just black and white. Her portraits live in the gray areas, in contradiction, spectacle, and truth. The scale of what she's captured cannot be ignored. Decades of culture, power, vulnerability, and transformation, framed through her lens and indelibly marked by her vision. Through her life and work, she continues to inspire generations.